Jail was boring. That was the first thing Private Angela McBride learned after she got past the fear and confusion. Food, exercise, everything was on a schedule. The only surprises came from the nightmares that had her waking up with the taste of blood in her mouth and the interrogators who danced around the self-destruct instructions in her brain. They moved her every few days, each new cell identical to the last. White walls, steel toilet, thin mattress. The only variation was in how the guards watched her. Some with fear, some with hatred, a few with pity. None of them knew what to do with a soldier who'd been turned into a weapon without her knowledge. She wasn't sure she knew either. It didn't matter that she hadn't been convicted of anything yet. There was enough evidence to have her executed if the lawyers decided to move quickly. Nobody believed her when she told them she hadn't planned to betray Captain LaGrange. Everything she'd done had been part of her orders. When they'd been stopped on their way to the fallback location, she would have sworn they were being attacked by monsters. It sounded crazy when she talked about it, and that was probably why most of her recent interrogators had been psychiatrists. She wasn't crazy, had never done drugs, and hadn't had a psychotic break. The Orvax had explained all of this to her command, after they'd saved her from her own brain. Or rather, the programming someone had put in her brain. At this point, she was just bored. There was nothing in her current cell beyond the bare necessities. The fresh paint on the concrete blocks couldn't hide their age. Tiny cracks mapped decades of settling foundation, each one memorized during endless hours of observation. The constant whir of the air conditioning unit created white noise that somehow made the silence deeper, more oppressive. Her bare feet could feel every groove in the rough floor, the texture a constant reminder of where she was. They'd given her plastic shoes to wear, no shoelaces allowed, but she preferred to feel the ground beneath her feet. The shoes had sat in a corner of the cell until the guards had removed them as a possible weapon. When they wanted her to walk somewhere, she was usually offered non-slip socks, but she liked those even less than the plastic shoes. The door buzzed, and Private McBride stood. She wasn't in uniform, but she'd found the guards were friendlier if she was at attention when they walked past her cell. If you could call a less derisive sneer friendly. Angela maintained her stance at attention while the guards passed, letting them see the model prisoner they expected. It was easier than explaining why she sometimes caught herself scanning for escape routes or analyzing their weaknesses.